Hello, Diana. This is Michael Martin, a student in your winter 2012 course called Learning Tools, or EDUC5401G, at the University of Ontario Institute of Technology. The following is my storyboard mock-up for my proposed web-based learning tool. My focus is on teaching RF frequency design to fellow IBM staff. These staff are all highly technical, and in most cases they are professional engineers. My students are all mature and have been working at IBM for more than 5 years. They are predominantly male. They come from many ethnic backgrounds and have many other first language skills, but to start, all speak English well. They are well versed in learning online with eTools. The focus of this tool is to deliver previously prepared slide decks used for training. This set of modules are focused on designing RF networks to carry data traffic where wired networks are not available. The objectives are: 1. To familiarize them with the key concepts. 2. Bring the information together in a single place and deliver it in a sequential manner. 3. Provide links to the core knowledge and design resources. 4. Share tips and notes to help them do their work easier. 5. To make the learning available at any time, any place they may need it. The training will be assessed with an integrated quiz tool at the end of the lessons. On this screen, I'm just showing to you that I will be using 3 different boxes. These boxes will indicate to you different pieces of information to help you better understand the learning tool. The first box, with white letters and blue background, is used to indicate the learning theory applied for the slide page. For the next box, which is the bright green, I'm indicating for you the design principle employed. In some cases, more than one design principle is used. And in the third box, which is really referred to as a call-out, it's highlighting to you important design layout points and key user features to allow the learner to understand how to use the tool properly. On this slide, you can see that the key action words or action verbs have been used from the modified Bloom's taxonomy, and they are highlighted in red. These specific words are going to represent the cognitive domain in this training program to focus in on what we want the learners to understand and be able to achieve afterwards. On this page, we're trying to represent the 6 revised Bloom taxonomy headings versus the 4 knowledge domains. The focus of the training is to provide a foundation knowledge that later can be developed by the learner in the metacognitive stage and allow them to build on and transfer the knowledge to their own use. Basic fundamentals will be provided, but as well as procedural process type work. But we need the students to understand the foundation so they can adapt the knowledge to their own learning requirements. In this box, you see, or in this page rather, you see the basic layout of a typical screen. There are 3 major boxes spread out over the screen. The graphics box 1 controls the content, which could most likely appear as PowerPoint slide decks, but may also appear as photographs and graphics, images, charts, all sorts of different things, including text words. The text box 1 is used for primary navigation, controls specialized buttons and buttons that may be relevant to the content in the graphics box at the time. So it's a dynamic box. Text box 2 would contain a narrative text, something along the lines of speaker notes in PowerPoint, but also can contain text that would be useful, like tips and ideas for the user to enhance the learning. I see this as using segmentation principle, and I see that because we're breaking the content into pieces, laying it out, and therefore the spatial contiguity principle is applied so that things flow contiguously from one to the other, and it's all related and interacted. Using the ARCS model, I think that this approach will be, easy to use. It grabs attention. It's not overwhelming. It's going to provide relevant content, and the students should feel comfortable using it with a high level of success because of the simplicity of it. So there should be good satisfaction in learning. On this page, we see the start of a module, a learning module, with a title slide. But I want to point out that the tool has a navigation bar, a custom navigation bar, that allows the user to move about quite freely within the content and to move at their own speed. They can progress slide by slide or jump around, and they can search within the slide decks or search for other slide decks that may be available to them. So it's easy to use for navigation, and they can access all sorts of content. As I mentioned, the narrative would be in this bottom right box, and it can provide multiple pages that are cycled through, so it's not just what you see at the one time. As the content proceeds and the narrative proceeds, the content within the box can change. And we're using the redundancy principle here because they don't need to read if they don't want to. They can just listen. And but we do have duplication. We have the content within the image graphic box, we have the text box, and then we have the narrative. So it is redundant. And again, we're using the ARCS model here to help communicate more effectively because it's, again, relaxed, easy to use, friendly, and they should have confidence in moving through this quite well. So Diana, in this page, you're going to see that we're using behaviorism. Unfortunately, in this type of content, behavioralism is used quite a bit. I'm trying to avoid it as much as possible, but there's a lot of basic memorization that's needed. So we're also taking advantage of the pre-training principle, where we're organizing the content in a way that it doesn't overwhelm them. It's a lot of information, but we're trying to get it to them in a nice, friendly manner and with good explanations and notes. In this one, you'll see that there's easy navigation again. The big buttons are used, so it's easy to get around. And again, there's a lot of text here, but the verbiage should be light and friendly. And in the text box, rather than repeat what's on the screen in the main window, we're going to put up some notes and tips, things that'll help the users in what they're learning. And I'll walk you through a few different slides now so you can see some of the ideas. As I mentioned, a lot of this content's very dry, but one thing about RF or radio frequencies, it's something you can't see or feel or touch or hear. It's a lot of faith in this stuff. So we use a lot of analogies, and we use a lot of graphics and animation and pictograms to help portray the complex ideas that, again, most people are visual learners, so it's very hard for them to wrap their minds around it if they can't see it. So this is actually an animation that I can't run in this tool, but I can show it to you and give it to you separately in the PowerPoint when I submit it, and you'll see how it works and builds. But it draws analogy through using things like tang and water being the RF carrier, and a pump being an amplifier, and what we call free space is like a pipe, and demodulation is the unmixing of the baseband signal from the carrier, which is unmixing the tang from the water, and it helps the learner visualize what's going on. Again, it's a situated learning scenario here, and we're also using social learning theory, so it's got some of the benefits of observing and seeing how it works and how the animation flows, watching this animated clip. And in a situated learning scenario, we get to interact with the simulation and do some role playing with it. Maybe ask some questions that are there that could interact, and of course, multimedia principles being used. Where we're enhancing the concepts with strong visuals and animation. On this page, this will nest a lot of video clips in here, and some of them will be humorous and fun. So there'll be social learning. You can see other employees at work, so be able to see how other people do things. Again, the video, we're using the multimedia principle, but you'll notice in the top right box that the buttons change to allow them to easily navigate, to move back and forth, and to understand and watch the clip over and over again if they want, and that's going to be helpful. In this image, we're showing that we're using graphics and charts, and again, some of this stuff is dry and boring. It's hard to give it much life, but therefore behavioralism, where we just have to push it out at them and they have to respond to it. But some of these charts and graphs will be very detailed, and important information will be in them, so they can use the navigation tool to zoom in and get a better look, or stop the content so they can look at it, or even download it. You'll notice that we have links to calculation tools to connect to external tools, and the notes and tips have adjusted as well to give some information that's relevant to what's going on in this topic and help them with the learning. Like in the last slide where we showed graphic images, in this one I'm showing a text from a spreadsheet, and this text will use some of the features, allow them to link. If they double click on the page, it'll drive them right out to the Microsoft Office suite and allow them to interact with the technical specifications or save it to their hard drive, what have you. Again, the notes and tips have all moved forward. Again, behaviorism is our main use, but also redundancy principles, our design approach on this slide. On this slide, we're going to use a still image, and we tend in RF to use a lot of photography, and that helps people see things. We're going to overlay text onto the image, and that can be dynamic as well, and animated, and then so we can post our questions over the image and then put the answer in the text box. And so we're, again, doing some experimental things here where we're taking advantage of a different learning theory that allows us to try and get the user to reflect a bit on the lesson and to start conceptualize what they're seeing and to question what they're seeing. So we'll be using a lot of open-ended questions in this area. Our design principles are multimedia and redundancy, again, common themes so far. And now as we get closer to the end, you can see we're on slide 101 of 107, and we're going to have a few quiz type questions, checkbox things where they can interact with the content. IBM does a lot of quizzing of their employees. It's a means of measurement, and we track these measurements, the data, the answers, everything's flowed through to their employee profile, and employees all need to achieve success in certain things in order to get promotions, bonuses, year-ends, rewards, or even get certified in certain topics. So we're going to use multiple type questions, multiple answer questions, I should say, and with instructions in the lower right box, and so this will be the ARCS model again, and with, again, personalization, because each of these quizzes is for the unique individual. In some of our quizzes, we've even made the quizzes dynamic, much like a GMAT exam, where the quizzes will vary depending on the answers you give for one question. You might get a different question on the next page, so it's hard to predict what they will do here, but the thinking here would be that it will challenge the user to their own level, and it will be personalized and will capture all that information. My final example is at the end now, and here what we'll do is give them some immediate gratification, uh, let them print out the answers to the quiz that they just succeeded at, and they can just press the printer button and it will create a certificate for them so that they can immediately have that certificate, use it to show their manager, and also it will be recorded in the back office systems. So I see this as very important. It's personalization, instant gratification. Again, it's nice and friendly, and so the ARCS model applies here. So anyways, there's an example. I hope I'm on the right track, and forgive me, I'm fighting the flu, but I'm on vacation next week, and I want to try and get this out to you to have a look at, and then I can talk to you next week or through email so that you can tell me if I'm off track or not. Okay, thanks, Diane. Have a great day.